Sure it's all connected. Okay. Can everybody see my screen okay? Yes. Yes? Okay, good. All right, so this is TriTech's Inform Me product. It's designed to run on iOS devices. So you can put it on a tablet, you can put it on a smartphone, and it's basically going to act like an extension of Inform Mobile in the field, but still give you that portability of having an actual device. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what we're looking at here. We're going to interact a little with CAD so you can see what that looks like. And then as we move through, if you have questions, please feel free to stop me and we'll see if we can get those answered. So first and foremost, we're looking at our home screen right now. We have some buttons across the top that will allow me to take different actions and view different pieces of information. The bottom half of this screen, I'm seeing a map. I can see I'm currently logged in as 106, and my current status is available. Okay. Now, these buttons across the top, the ones you see in black, are going to be buttons that come with the application. So my CAD status, my dispatching, messages, and we'll walk through these functions. And then those blue buttons are the ones that you're going to be able to configure. So what other functions or things do you want to give your users access to? Now, again, I talked about this map we see here. So on this map, we're not using necessarily your GIS data. We're connecting to Esri OpenStreets. And that gives you the flexibility as that user to see information or see roadways and things outside of your jurisdiction. So especially if you find yourself traveling to offer mutual aid or going other places, you don't have to worry about maintaining GIS data on a large scale. So now what OpenStreets also gives you is the ability to have access to some pretty detailed information. So right now I am zooming in on the Anaheim area. So down here you can see this is actually Disneyland down here, and they've actually drawn in the roller coasters. So what Esri OpenStreets is a conglomeration really of super GIS users who like to do these really detailed digitized kind of mapping. So it's very, very accurate, and it allows you to get some sort of real granular detail. Okay. Also within the bottom half of this screen, I have access to my messaging. So I am running a separate instance of CAD on my other workstation, and I'm going to go ahead and send a message to myself here. So as I start to send my message, give me just 1 second. Sorry, we have a little bit of lag. Seems like I'm having a little bit of lag. Give me just a second. Here we go. All right. So I can see here my that I can receive my messages, and then I can go ahead and respond to them. And now I can go back and forth with other CAD users, other Inform Me users, and Inform Mobile users. So just that interoperability to be able to message across the different applications. Okay. Now moving on to our CAD status. So what our CAD status is basically a breakdown of all of my current active calls, all my pending calls, where all my units are on a map. Okay, so I'm zooming in down here. All of our GIS data is down there in San Diego. So those little blue pins are actually my units, and then the pink flags are my incidents. Now below that, I'm seeing a listing of all of my incidents and then all of my units. Okay, so this is going to be regardless of their status, whether they're active or pending. But I can zoom into different pieces of information. So for instance, if I was interested in zooming to my call at Mesa Rim and Flanders on the map, I can choose this eye right here, and it's going to zoom into that incident location on the map. Now from here, I can request driving directions, and it's going to use Apple driving directions in order to provide those to me. But I'm also getting a little thumbnail view of that particular location. Okay. I can also drill down into call details. So for instance, at 10343 Penrod, I have a breathing problems call. If I click on that call number, it's going to take me into that CAD status view and show me the information associated with that particular call for service. So it's going to be some things like the address, the problem nature, any comments that are entered into it, etc. And we'll look a little bit more at that in a second. Now, also on the bottom half of this screen, I can see all of my units that are currently logged in, what their status is, and where they're at. Again, that eye on the right-hand side is going to take me to that location. And again, I can get driving directions to that location from here. If I click on a unit that is not on a call, it's going to take me to information about that particular unit. So the unit name, the vehicle name, their current location, and what their roster times are. If I click on a unit that is on a call, so for instance, 119 is currently at scene, that's going to take me to that CAD status view where I can see the call details for that particular call. So right now I'm choosing to basically look at everything, but I could filter this information. So I could say, show me only the calls or the units. I can break it down by agency or jurisdiction in order to filter the information that I'm looking at down here in my queue view. Okay. Go back out for a second. Now I'm going to go ahead and dispatch myself over here to this call, to this chest pain call at 600 West Harbor. So as I do that, we're going to receive that dispatch message that's giving us all of that information. So it's pulling all of that call information to the front for me. I can see that it's at 600 West Harbor. I can see that I have a chest pain call. And then down below, I am getting all of my call comments. So those call comments in this particular call for service, scroll down real quick, I'm seeing caution note type information, pro QA information are my key questions, and I'm seeing my 3 closest hospitals. So those are all coming in from my CAD call for service. Now from here, I can add call comments. And this will automatically update for everybody looking at this particular call for service. So anybody and any other users that are looking at this incident information as well as my dispatcher. Now from here, if I move to my my dispatch screen, it's going to give me a full page look at that call for service. Okay, so let's walk through a little bit just so you can see the information that's coming through. So I'm getting my location name, my address, as well as my cross streets. I see which city it's in. And then down here, I have access to those caution notes. So the caution notes are maintained in CAD and are specific to this particular location. So I can see that I need to access from the east entrance and what the fire control room access code is. I also have access to prior calls for service. So prior details, I'm seeing a listing of prior calls for service at this particular location. And then I can drill down into those call details and review what happened at that last call. Okay, go back out to our dispatch screen. And then continuing down, I can see priority of the call, what units are assigned to it, the fact that it's currently dispatched, and then again, seeing those call comments. Okay. So that's kind of my main page for looking at my calls for service detail. But next to that, I can drill down into the attachments that are specific for this location. And again, these are attachments that are maintained in CAD. As long as I can open them on my device, I can view that information on my tablet directly. Okay. Now, next to attachments, I have access to reporting party information, so I can see that caller phone number. My statuses, this is going to be my firsts. So what time the call was first created, what time the first unit was dispatched to it, and then once units started going en route or on scene, it would be the first time that status change was marked. And then right next to that, I have access to just a listing of call comments. So just a little bit of a different way to view that information instead of seeing it at the bottom of the screen on my main page. Now down here at the bottom, you can see right now I'm currently in dispatched status. So I have a couple different ways if you want them to give them access to updating their statuses from the device. If I click on it, it's going to give me a list of statuses that are available from the status I'm currently in. So my dispatch rules say from here, I can mark as responding, at scene, or available. Okay, and I can choose from that list, or If I slide my finger from left to right over that dispatched, it'll take me to my next logical status, which in this case happens to be responding. And if I slide it again, my next status is staged. And then one more time and I'm at scene. So again, I could click that button to choose my next status, or if I just slide my finger, it takes me to my next logical status. So that's the ability to change my status from Inform Me directly. But I do have the ability, and now if dispatch were to change my status, it's going to automatically update on my Inform Me app. So I'm going to go ahead and put myself as transporting to a hospital for this chest pain call from my CAD system.
So Liz,
Yes.
Right now, the only way that can be done is from the CAD. Like there's no way for an ambulance to actually put themselves in transport mode.
So currently today we have that as a CAD function only because most of the time you're wanting to track mileage with that. And right now we don't have a way of tracking that mileage from Inform Me. So from CAD we can track that mileage.
Okay. But everything else that we do, responding, arriving on the scene, going back in service, all those other things except for leaving for the hospital and arriving at the hospital, everything else can get done on this app.
Correct.
Okay.
You can see I'm in a depart scene status. And again, this at this point allows my CAD dispatcher to track my mileage. And then if I put myself at destination from CAD, we'll see our status update here in the bottom right-hand corner. And again, I can track that mileage from within CAD.
Good.
Just one second. There we go. And now I'm showing us at hospital. And then once I'm done with my call for service, again, if you give them the ability to, they can clear themselves from a call and add comments if necessary. So I'm putting in my disposition here. And add comments if I needed to, and then submit, and then I'm back to an available status. Okay. And then some of these other buttons you see across the top here, so that was my dispatch message. I also have access to a full page messaging system, so I can see it as a full page, as well as a full page map. Now this map, like I mentioned, using Esri OpenStreets, it operates just as any other map does on a smart device, where I can use my fingers to pinch and zoom in and zoom out, and then pan around on my map. Now up in the right-hand corner, you have different ways of viewing your particular map orientation. So I can center it on myself. I can show the direction that I'm heading facing up or north facing up. So it's pretty familiar functionality for anybody who's used Google Maps or Apple Maps. And then also from this screen, I have the ability, if I need to mark myself as out of service. So these out of service reasons would be whatever you give them access to. So I have the ability to show myself as out of service with a flat tire. And then when I'm back in service, I can remove that flat tire. Also on my particular system, even though I am in an EMS mode right now, I still have that traffic stop button, but just to illustrate the ability for you folks to give them rights to create their own calls from Inform Me if you need to. So yours may not necessarily be a traffic stop, but it could be a flag down or a wave down, maybe a vehicle accident or a party that's down. I can create my own calls from Inform Me and have that information populate back to CAD. When I was
going to ask you that. Yeah, because that, like, fairly commonly our units in some of our jurisdictions, they'll get a call not through the 911 system but through another mechanism where they go to a urgent care and then they move a patient to the hospital. So they could actually put that in and generate the card themselves.
Exactly. So from within this form, it will use your current latitude and longitude to give it an address, or you can type in an address if you have a different one. You don't want to use the latitude and longitude. So it works very similarly to Inform Mobile in that it will use the GPS location of the device, or they can type in an address.
Okay.
All right, so that's, I mean, Inform Me is a pretty simple application as far as how to operate it, because it truly is an app that's usually fairly familiar as far as how to navigate through it, using push buttons, using your fingers, like I said, to pinch and zoom on the map, giving them direct access to CAD information when they get dispatched to a call for service, being able to update their statuses. And then, like I said, those blue buttons do give you the ability to give them additional functionality beyond what's core in the product. So what other questions do you folks have about Inform Me?
So let me ask you a little bit about the query function. So
okay.
I know we're gonna be passing times through another element directly into our from the CAD into our ambulance call reporting system. But let's say somebody wanted to use this to look up the call or look up information about a run. Once it's closed, can you still get to it through this?
Not through Inform Me, no. Once the call has been closed out, we don't have a way currently today to go look up historical calls in this application.
But prior to that, so let's say you're at the hospital and you want to see all your times and the address and that sort of stuff, you could do that through query?
Well, yeah, if you're still assigned to the call, it's still, as long as that call is still open, I can get to it from within my call queue here or from my actual dispatch page. So being able to see my dispatched call for service, I can see all the different times and information associated with it. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a lag here on my end, but as long as that call is still open, I can get to it either through my dispatch page or through my incident list. But once that call is closed, I don't have a way to go back and look it up through this application.
Okay, and we're going to create another portal for that through, I forget what the name of the product is, but yeah, we're going to run something
Inform
else.
Browser?
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to use.
Yeah, so Browser is a really good tool to look up that historical information, and because that is a web page as well, I can run it on the exact same device. It's just going to use a different application in order to view that information.
So anybody else have questions?
And actually, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, let me go ahead and point this out as well. So right here, if you'll notice this button right here that says TriTech.com, because like I said, these blue buttons are configurable by your agency. You can even have a direct link from here to Inform Browser, where all they would have to do is click on that and it would automatically open up Inform Browser on their device.
So we could put any kind of link we want on there, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, cool. All right.
Hey guys, Nash from Wilton EMS. How are you guys doing today?
Good, thank you.
One quick question. Do we see everybody's zones or will we just see our own zone?
It depends on what you give people rights to, but within that CAD status view where we could filter down, this is where I could come in and say, hey, show me the calls that are only specific to maybe a specific jurisdiction or a specific agency. So I can filter it down to show only the things that I need to see, or if you want, you can keep it open and let them see everything.
So, and I think we're going to address that by the unit number. Like we permission it by ambulance number, or we permission it by fly car number. And
gotcha.
So we can
Perfect.
we can do jurisdictions, or we can do just an agency. I think one thing for people who are on the call is, like, let's say you have 7171, a Wilton ambulance. Only one device can log in as that. And so the whole crew can't all have their phones logged in as 7171. It can only be one device.
True.
And so that whatever that device is, somebody from that unit or the iPad from that unit is going to be the thing that logs in and runs this app, basically.
Correct. But then every user can log into Inform Browser, with their own name. So everybody can be logged into Browser and see current information and historical information, do lookups and things of that nature. But correct, sir, only one person be signed into Inform Me.
Okay.
Mike Evans from Malta Star EMS. Quick question in reference to that is there a timeout features for logins, or is it indefinite?
I don't believe there's a timeout feature for logins, but I can double check with the product manager just to be sure, but I don't believe that there's a logout time frame.
I actually know the answer to that because we did talk to the project man.
Oh, awesome.
It is permanent. However, we can, at communications, log somebody out forcefully.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, let's say somebody does it on an iPad and then someone else is trying to use a different iPad in that unit and there's another one logged in. We could, in communications, force log out the one who is logged in.
But they'd be the only ones. So in other words, say we're going to have one dedicated to each unit. If somebody tried to log in from their phone to 3881, it wouldn't allow them because somebody else was already logged into it.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Any other questions from anybody at this time?
Let me ask you one thing about the mapping. So all the calls are GPS pinned, and then you're going to look at them on Esri. Is there an overlay of maps from our CAD, the Esri that we're using?
So not today, although we are looking at ways of being able to overlay your map layers on top of this OpenStreets map. But to my knowledge, no, not today. We can't overlay those GIS layers today.
So only the GIS stuff that we put into OpenStreets would actually appear on this.
So the OpenStreets is actually a conglomeration, like I said, of GIS, like super people. And in order to contribute information, there's certain things that steps and things that they have to go to before they're allowed to contribute information. So it's not something that just anybody can put information into. So the answer is definitely going to be for us to figure out how to allow you guys to add your own layers on top of this as opposed to contributing to OpenStreets. Yeah,
okay. I mean, we have some other mapping things. We have another program that we use now that's a responder program that has a different kind of mapping in it that we can customize. But also, I think New York State, through the Esri, is adding stuff at the state level, which our TriTech system is funneled into. So some of that may actually show up on here anyway.
Right.
Is there a demo app that you can download at this time, or no?
No, not at this time.
Okay. But you expect it when the anticipated live date of February, that it would be available right from the beginning then, or delayed further out?
Inform me?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. If it's part of your implementation, we can certainly make it available to you guys when you go live.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Know that is on track for your go live. Elizabeth is tracking that live.
All right. I wasn't sure about that. We are, for the guys that are on the call, we are recording this. So if you have people that you want to play it to later, we'll get the link and they can look at this whole thing and listen through playback.
Perfect. And any other questions at this time? All right. As Mike noted, this is recorded, so we will send this over to you. And if you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to Elizabeth, and she can help get those answered. Thank you, Liz. And
thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. Thanks, Cheryl. We appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for coming on.
Yeah, have a good day.
Have a good day.